Games released after 2020 are lifeless. They have no soul to them, and completing these new games often feels like a chore, right from the trailers to the release of the game. It feels like low quality, cringe, and boring. Like, I would rather play a dino game rather than any of these games. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sid, and today we're going to be talking about why modern games are getting worse and worse by the day. And I will give you two reasons on why is that. The first, developers working on the game, and the second, greed in the modern gaming. So, let's just start with the if you look at the situation on why is this happening, you might say it might be the lack of innovation in games. Well, let's just say that is simply not true because there will be always something to be improved upon in games. And no game in the video game industry is 100% perfect. Then you may ask, Sid, what is stopping the innovation in the games? I think you guessed it. Yes, it's the devs that work on the games. With almost every major publisher laying off the devs left and right, there are no competent dev team to work on the games that we love so much. And instead of recruiting a talented dev team, these companies are hiring just the worst people that they can. Well, let's just take an example. The OG Modern Warfare 2, one of the most successful first-person shooter ever, was consisted of a team of 100 led by Jason West and Vince Zampella. And now, it took almost 3,000 devs to replicate that game's success that was already made in 2009. And somehow, they made it into a complete dumpster fire. And now, almost the same thing has happened to Rocksteady and also the new Saints Row games. If you look at the hiring page of the top publishers, they want DEI in their games rather than a competent individual who has the knowledge of game designs. And instead on focusing on making a good gaming product, they're focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like who cares about that as long as the game is good? Let's take an example. Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series. She's been kicking ass and taking names for almost 3 decades now. And I don't think nobody complained about the character being a female. Even when they nerfed her, we were like fine with it. And yeah, I got even better. Samus Aran. We didn't know that if it was a man, woman, or just a plain old robot underneath that armor. Until the end of the game. We loved it because the gameplay attached to that game was so good. And the same thing should be applied on the people working on the game. If you are an individual who knows about making a good game, you should be hired, regardless of your race, ethnicity, and whatever the other things out there. And let's just talk about the gameplay of these modern games. Sometimes, even when the game's story is not good, we play it for its addictive, fun gameplay. And somehow in these modern games, they mess that up as well. And I heard so many people say that they just want the Black Ops 2 zombies as it was before. Like how hard can it be to implement that? Like you already have the blueprint of the game right there in the previous series. And all of this is because they hire people who don't know what they're doing. That's the reason why games coming out of from Europe and Asia are beating the games from the West because they don't care about that shit. They just purely focus on making a game that just communicates well with the gamers. Games like Black Myth Wukong, Stellar Blade, and Elden Ring are way more successful than the games released in the West, like Suicide Squad, Skulls and Bones, Star Wars Outlaws. And all of these flop games are from the biggest gaming studios in the world, with ludicrous amount of development time and marketing budget. When Bethesda released the infamous Horse Armor DLC for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, it was a laughingstock in the gaming industry, but it was very successful for the company. It paved the way for the future DLCs of the game, such as Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles, and this led to the start of the microtransactions that we see today in games. And I know that the microtransactions were there before in previous games, but this Horse Armor DLC made it into the mainstream, and the trend continued on and got worse and worse.
Yeah, here's the biggest sadness, dude. I worked 2 years of overtime straight on StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty made less money than the horse, the first Sparkle Pony horse in World of Warcraft. A $15 microtransaction horse made more money than StarCraft 2. That's it. That's the whole meme, dude. You're wondering why these companies do microtransactions? Because dipshits keep buying all of them.
And back in the days when I was playing Destiny, I remembered a dev talking about a skin for a certain weapon in the game that paid for a fan favorite mission of Destiny 2 called Whisper of the Worms. You see, games are a business. At the end of the day, these companies need to make money from the game that they have created. But when a cosmetic item in the game earns more money than the DLC or the whole game itself, then it is obvious that these companies are gonna focus on making more skins, and now the situation has become so worse that the sole reason these games are created so that they can have a working microtransaction shop in games. Companies don't even care anymore that the game is buggy or outright unplayable. The store is their number one priority. And I can't even blame gamers for this one, because if I had an option to play the game with something as ridiculous, I would 100% do it. But paying for the skin that cost as much as the game itself, that is a little too much. Like, look at this. It's a skin released in a World War II game, which was probably up for $30. And look at that man go. And we all kinda need to slow down on buying skins, because we all know why we enjoyed that purchase. It's because of the incredible game that we had fun playing with, which took years of hard work of several genius people. Since we live in an era of wallet gamers and game companies caring more about diversity instead of making a fun game, it's no wonder that the gamers are now playing old games more than ever before. And my advice is also for you to slow down. Play some old games. You would be surprised at how many underrated games are out there. And stop pre-ordering games, because it's just not worth it on playing on day one like it was before. Except for GTA 6, because that's you can talk me out of it. I would be pre-ordering that game, and nothing will ever convince me to. And thank you so much guys for watching the video. If you made it till the end, please do hit the like button, and I will see you on the next one.